Aaron adjusted the straps of his backpack and looked up at the mountain that towered before him. The forgotten mountain temple was said to be hidden somewhere along the jagged cliffs, covered in mist and secrets of an ancient civilization. Many had tried to find it, but none had succeeded. Aaron had spent months studying old maps, reading stories from travelers, and preparing himself for the climb. Today, his journey was finally beginning. The morning sun cast golden light over the rocky paths, making them glow as if guiding him. Birds chirped from the forest edges, and a soft breeze carried the scent of pine. Aaron took a deep breath, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. Climbing this mountain alone would have been risky, but he knew the challenge would be worth it. His heart raced, not from fear, but from the thought of discovery. As he started his ascent, he noticed movement ahead. A young woman, carefully studying a rolled-up map, was checking the path before stepping forward. She wore a sturdy coat and boots, her dark hair tied back in a practical braid. Aaron slowed his pace and called out, "Hello. Are you also heading to the temple?" The woman looked up and smiled politely. "Yes, I am. I'm Neela. I'm mapping the mountain and the temple's location. It's dangerous to go alone, so I always prefer company." Aaron nodded, feeling a sense of relief. "I'm Aaron. I've prepared for months. Maybe we can travel together? It could make the climb easier and safer." Neela considered him for a moment. She had met many people who underestimated the mountain's dangers. But there was something in Aaron's eyes, determination, curiosity, and a quiet confidence that made her nod. "All right, Aaron. Let's travel together." The two of them set off along the narrow path that wound through rocky slopes and thick trees. Aaron took the lead, moving quickly but carefully, while Neela followed, consulting her map and marking important landmarks. Though their personalities were different, Aaron was bold and quick to act, Neela cautious and precise. They found a rhythm together. Conversation flowed easily, first about the mountain, then about their experiences and dreams. As they climbed higher, the path became steeper, and the air thinner. Aaron's strong legs carried him upward, but he noticed Neela pausing frequently to catch her breath. He slowed down and offered her a hand. "Take your time. The climb is tough, but we'll manage it together." Neela smiled gratefully. "Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. It's not just the climb, it's the unknown that worries me. No one knows what we might find inside the temple." Aaron chuckled softly. "That's what makes it exciting. We'll face the challenges together, and whatever we discover, it'll be worth it." By noon, they reached a small plateau that overlooked a valley blanketed in mist. The sight was breathtaking. Birds flew below them, and the sun glinted off the river winding through the forest. Aaron and Neela sat on a flat rock, sharing water and dried fruit. For a few quiet minutes, they simply watched the world below, feeling small yet part of something much larger. "I never thought I'd see anything like this," Neela said, her voice soft with wonder. "It's magical." Aaron nodded. "It is. And we haven't even reached the temple yet. Just imagine what's waiting for us at the top." Their shared excitement grew as they continued upward. Soon, the path became rugged, with rocks jutting out like teeth. Aaron led carefully, testing each step, while Neela followed, pointing out possible hazards. The mountain demanded respect, and both of them felt its power. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, they found a safe spot to camp for the night. Aaron built a small fire while Neela set up a tent. The warmth of the flames offered comfort against the mountain's chill. Sitting by the fire, Aaron unpacked his journal and began sketching the path ahead. Neela watched him, impressed by his attention to detail. She too made notes and added markings to her map. The evening passed with shared stories, laughter, and quiet moments of reflection. Before sleep claimed them, Aaron looked at Neela and said, "Tomorrow, the climb will get harder, but I'm glad we're doing this together." Neela smiled, her eyes reflecting the firelight. "Me too, Aaron. I feel like we make a good team." The mountain stood silent around them, its secrets waiting for those brave enough to reach its peak. And as the stars appeared in the night sky, Aaron and Neela drifted into sleep, unaware of the challenges and wonders the temple held, but ready to face them side by side. The morning air was crisp as Aaron and Neela packed their camp. Mist hung low over the cliffs, and the rising sun painted the rocks in soft shades of gold and orange. Today, the climb promised to be more difficult. The path ahead twisted sharply, and jagged rocks threatened every step. Yet, both felt an energy born of purpose. They were determined to reach the forgotten mountain temple together. As they ascended, Aaron led the way, moving quickly and confidently. Neela followed closely, marking the path in her map, noting every sharp turn and dangerous ledge. "Careful here," she warned, pointing to a section where loose stones could slide. Aaron slowed and tested the footing before stepping forward. "Good eye, Neela. We need to watch every step." The climb grew steeper, and the air thinner, forcing both to pause frequently. Aaron leaned on a rock, wiping sweat from his brow. "This mountain doesn't make it easy, does it?" he said with a small laugh. Neela smiled, adjusting her pack. "No, it doesn't. But I guess that's why it's called the Forgotten Mountain. Only those ready to respect it can succeed." Suddenly, a loud rumble echoed across the cliffs. A small landslide had begun farther up the path, and stones tumbled toward them. Aaron quickly grabbed Neela's arm. "Move back." Together, they scrambled to the side, holding onto each other for balance. After the rocks settled, they looked at each other, hearts racing. "That was close," Neela said, catching her breath. Her voice was steady, but her eyes betrayed a flicker of fear. Aaron nodded, brushing dust from his jacket. "It's part of the challenge. But we made it through together. That counts for something, doesn't it?" Neela's lips curved into a small smile. "It does. You always seem so calm, even in danger. I admire that." Aaron shrugged, feeling a warmth in his chest. "I'm not always calm. But climbing with someone makes it easier. You make me feel stronger, Neela." The two shared a quiet moment before continuing. The path narrowed, winding along the edge of a cliff that dropped sharply into the valley below. They moved slowly, carefully placing each foot. Aaron extended his hand at one point, helping Neela over a particularly tricky rock. "Here, take my hand. One step at a time." Neela grasped it, feeling the reassurance in his firm grip. "Thank you," she said softly. "I trust you." Hours passed as they climbed. The sun climbed high, and their muscles ached, but their spirits remained high. Along the way, they shared stories from their pasts. Aaron spoke of adventures in faraway lands, and Neela of the maps she had drawn of hidden valleys and forgotten ruins. They laughed at mistakes they had made and admired the lessons they had learned. Each story strengthened their bond, turning their shared journey into more than just a climb. It became a growing friendship, built on trust, respect, and quiet admiration. By afternoon, they reached a plateau halfway up the mountain. A small stream ran through the rocks, offering cool, clear water. Aaron knelt to fill his bottle, and Neela followed, kneeling beside him. The mountain's beauty stretched around them, forest below, clouds rolling in the distance, and sunlight glinting on distant peaks. "This view, it makes the climb worth it," Neela said, her eyes wide with awe. Aaron nodded, looking at the valley below. "It does. But it's not just the view. It's who you climb with." He met her gaze, and for a brief moment, words were not needed. The trust, the shared effort, and the excitement of adventure filled the silence between them. After resting and eating a simple meal, they began the next stage of the climb. The path became rockier and more challenging. Aaron moved ahead to test each step, while Neela followed, ready to guide him with her map if needed. At one point, they faced a steep ravine with no clear path across. Neela examined the map and nearby rocks. "We need to use these boulders to jump across carefully. One wrong step could be dangerous," she said. Aaron smiled, impressed by her quick thinking. "Then let's do it together." Step by step, they crossed, supporting each other, balancing, and occasionally laughing when a slip caused only minor slips. As the sun dipped low, they found a safe spot to camp for the night. Both were tired but satisfied. They sat by a small fire, sharing water and quiet conversation. Neela looked at Aaron with a soft expression. "I'm glad we met. I don't think I could have done this climb alone." Aaron smiled warmly. "Me too, Neela. We make a good team. Tomorrow, I think the temple will be even closer. Are you ready?" She nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and anticipation. "I'm ready." The fire crackled, the stars appeared in the clear night sky, and the mountain stood silently around them, holding its ancient secrets. Side by side, Aaron and Neela fell asleep, dreaming of the challenges and wonders that awaited them, their bond growing stronger with each passing moment. The morning sun rose slowly over the mountain, casting long shadows across the rocky path. Aaron and Neela woke to the crisp air and the sound of distant birds. Their muscles ached from the previous day's climb, but excitement ran through them. They were getting closer to the forgotten mountain temple. The mountain seemed quieter now, as if it was waiting for them to reach its hidden secrets. After a quick breakfast of bread and fruit, they packed their camp and continued upward. The path was narrower and steeper than before. Loose stones crunched under their feet, and the wind gusted sharply, testing their balance. Aaron moved ahead, scouting the safest way, while Neela checked her map and marked the spots where the path split. "Look at this," Neela called, pointing to a section of the cliff covered in thick vines and moss. "The path seems to end here, but I think there's something behind these vines." Aaron approached and ran his hand over the dense greenery. "You're right. It feels like there's a passage hidden here. This could be the temple's entrance." His voice held both excitement and awe. Carefully, they pushed the vines aside and discovered a narrow stone archway, worn smooth by time but still sturdy. Beyond it lay a dark corridor that seemed to lead deep into the mountain. "Shall we?" Aaron asked, glancing at Neela. Neela nodded, her eyes sparkling. "Yes, but carefully. We don't know what's inside." They stepped into the hidden passage, their boots echoing softly against the stone floor. The air was cooler here, damp with the scent of earth and moss. The walls were covered in carvings, strange symbols, figures of people, and shapes that looked like the sun. Neela's eyes widened. "These must be ancient inscriptions. They tell a story, of the people who built this temple." Aaron crouched to examine a carving more closely. "Look at the detail. They worshipped the sun and the mountain, it seems." Everything here was carefully designed. This place is more than just a temple, it's history itself. As they moved further inside, the passage opened into a larger chamber. Shafts of sunlight peeked through cracks in the stone ceiling, illuminating the carvings on the walls. Dust floated in the beams of light, and the silence was almost sacred. Aaron and Neela walked slowly, taking in every detail. Neela pulled out her notebook and began sketching the inscriptions. We need to document everything. Even small details might tell us more about the civilization that lived here. Aaron nodded, exploring the room. He noticed small alcoves along the walls, each containing stone statues of figures holding circular objects that resembled the sun. These might represent their leaders or priests, he suggested. Or maybe guardians of the temple. Hours passed as they studied the chamber, moving carefully from one carving to the next. Occasionally, they would point out something new to each other, sharing observations and theories. Their teamwork felt seamless. Aaron's curiosity and Neela's careful attention complemented each other perfectly. At one point, Neela traced a symbol with her finger. This looks like a map of the mountain paths and caves. Perhaps it shows a secret route deeper inside. Aaron's eyes lit up. Then we need to follow it. It could lead to the temple's heart or even the treasure it protects. The corridor beyond the chamber was narrow and winding, with low ceilings that forced them to stoop. Small cracks in the stone allowed light to peek through, guiding their steps. The air grew warmer as they advanced, and they realized the mountain itself seemed to breathe with life. At one moment, Aaron stumbled on a loose stone. Neela quickly steadied him with a firm hand. "Careful," she said softly, her concern evident. "We can't afford a mistake here." He smiled, brushing off the dust. "Thanks, Neela. I don't know what I'd do without you." A small warmth passed between them, unspoken but deeply felt. Their connection had grown stronger since the beginning of the climb, and moments like these made it clear that it was more than just friendship. Finally, they reached a bend where the corridor opened into another chamber. The walls glowed faintly from sunlight reflecting on smooth stones, revealing more carvings this time, figures holding hands, walking together under a shining sun. Neela studied them closely. "Look, Aaron." They celebrated unity and teamwork. Perhaps it was their way of honoring cooperation and trust. Aaron glanced at her and smiled. "That feels familiar. Just like us, climbing this mountain together." They shared a quiet laugh and stepped further into the chamber, ready to face the deeper mysteries of the temple. Both felt a mix of anticipation and excitement, knowing that each step brought them closer not only to the temple's secrets but also to a bond that was growing stronger with every challenge. The Forgotten Mountain Temple awaited them, and Aaron and Neela were ready to uncover its hidden wonders, side by side. The deeper Aaron and Neela went into the temple, the warmer the air became. At first, it was a gentle heat, like a summer morning, but soon it turned intense, pressing against their skin and making every step feel heavier. Aaron wiped sweat from his brow, and Neela adjusted her braid to keep her hair from sticking to her neck. "This heat, it's stronger than I expected," Neela said, her voice steady but calm. "We have to be careful." Aaron nodded. "It must be natural vents or geothermal energy inside the mountain. But it doesn't scare me. We'll get through this together." They moved slowly through the corridors, their footsteps echoing against the stone walls. Small streams of steam rose from cracks in the floor, and the glowing sun symbols carved into the walls seemed to shimmer in the warm air. Aaron reached out to touch one of the carvings, marveling at its smoothness. The builders knew this heat would be here. They designed everything around it. This temple is more advanced than anyone imagined. Neela followed, studying the carvings and taking notes. It's incredible. But the heat is draining. We need to pace ourselves. Suddenly, Aaron noticed Neela struggling with the heat. Her face was flushed, and she paused to catch her breath. Without thinking, he stepped closer. "Here, lean on me for a moment," he said gently. "We can rest until it cools slightly." Neela nodded, grateful for his support. She felt a warmth not just from the temple, but from the way he cared. "Thank you, Aaron. I don't know what I'd do without you here." Aaron smiled, a quiet pride in his chest. "You'd manage, but it's better this way. We're stronger together." After a short rest, they continued. The temple's corridors twisted and turned, sometimes leading to small chambers with intricate carvings, other times opening into vast halls that made their steps echo like drums. The heat grew even more intense as they approached the inner chambers. Small streams of water trickled along the floor, evaporating quickly in the warm air. At one point, they reached a section where the ground was slick with condensation. Aaron reached for Neela's hand to help her across. "Careful here. One slip could be dangerous." She took his hand, feeling reassured. "I trust you, Aaron. Lead the way." Together, they moved slowly but steadily, navigating the slippery stones. The closeness made their bond feel stronger, each small touch and shared glance carrying silent meaning. They were no longer just companions, they were partners, relying on each other in every challenge the temple presented. As they advanced, they entered a chamber where the walls glowed with a warm, golden light. The air seemed to hum, and the heat was almost unbearable. In the center of the room was a large stone platform with a circular design carved into it. Symbols of the sun radiated from the center, each line precise and perfectly balanced. "This must be an important place," Neela whispered, tracing the carvings with her fingers. "Look at the details, it's meant to honor the sun itself." Aaron studied the platform carefully. "The heat probably comes from this chamber. It's like the temple's heart. Everything we've faced leads here. We need to be careful, but we should explore it fully." They stepped onto the platform, feeling the warmth rise from the stone. Despite the heat, their excitement grew. This chamber was different from the others, it radiated energy and history, and the carvings told stories of devotion, teamwork, and the strength of those who built the temple. Neela looked at Aaron, eyes wide with wonder. This is incredible. Imagine the people who stood here before us, feeling the same warmth, seeing the same light. We're part of their story now." Aaron nodded, feeling a deep connection not only to the temple but to Neela as well. "And we'll honor it by discovering it carefully, together." They explored the chamber, carefully documenting each carving and examining the design of the stone platform. The heat pressed on them, but it no longer felt threatening. It was part of the temple's power, and they felt stronger for facing it together. As they rested briefly on the edge of the platform, their shoulders brushed, and they shared a quiet smile. Words were unnecessary, the experience had brought them closer, building trust, admiration, and a growing sense of warmth that had nothing to do with the temple's heat. The day passed with careful exploration and quiet conversation. By the time they exited the inner chamber, their faces were flushed and their bodies tired, but their spirits were high. The temple had challenged them, tested their endurance, and strengthened the bond between them. Outside, the fading light of the afternoon touched the walls, and Aaron turned to Neela. "We did well today. Tomorrow, I think we'll discover even more secrets. Are you ready?" Neela smiled, feeling a mix of excitement and anticipation. "I'm ready. And I'm glad we're doing this together, Aaron." As they set up camp near a small stone ledge just outside the temple, the warmth of the day lingered in the air. The mountain seemed alive, holding its secrets patiently, but Aaron and Neela felt ready for whatever came next. Together, they had faced the temple's heat and found that their courage, teamwork, and growing trust made even the toughest challenges feel conquerable. The morning sun filtered through the cracks of the temple walls as Aaron and Neela prepared for another day of exploration. Yesterday's climb and the temple's inner heat had tested their endurance, but it had also strengthened their trust in each other. Today, they would enter the deeper chambers, the heart of the temple, where ancient puzzles and secrets awaited. The corridor leading to the inner chamber was narrow, twisting, and lined with intricate carvings. Each step seemed to echo with history, and the golden symbols on the walls glowed faintly, as if guiding them forward. Neela ran her hand along the carvings, tracing the patterns carefully. "These symbols, they must tell a story or hold a secret," she said. "I think we're getting close to something important." Aaron nodded, his eyes scanning the walls for clues. "The builders left something for those who are patient and careful. We have to pay attention to every detail." After several minutes of careful walking, they reached a large circular chamber. In the center was a raised stone platform with a complex design carved into it. Sun motifs spiraled outward from the center, and smaller carvings lined the platform's edge. In the dim light, the carvings almost seemed to move, reflecting the sun's energy streaming through a small opening above. "This must be the puzzle," Aaron said quietly, stepping closer. "The temple wants us to solve it before moving forward." Neela examined the symbols, noting their positions and shapes. "It's intricate, but there's a pattern. I think the symbols must be aligned in a certain way to unlock the next chamber. We need to observe carefully." Together, they began to study the puzzle. Aaron shifted stone levers and tested pressure plates, while Neela deciphered the inscriptions and traced possible connections. Hours passed as they worked methodically, sometimes discussing their ideas, sometimes quietly concentrating. Their movements complemented each other. Aaron's courage and quick thinking matched Neela's careful observation and knowledge. At one point, a small lever clicked, and a section of the platform slid slightly. "We're on the right track," Aaron exclaimed. Neela smiled, feeling a surge of excitement. "Just a little more, we can do this together." As the puzzle's complexity grew, they had to coordinate their actions carefully. One symbol needed to be pressed at the same time as a lever was moved, while another required observing the reflection of sunlight at a precise angle. Aaron guided Neela through the movements, while she suggested patterns and arrangements based on her sketches. Their teamwork was seamless. They laughed when a lever moved too far or a symbol slipped out of alignment, and they encouraged each other when the task seemed impossible. The puzzle was more than just a challenge. It was a test of patience, intelligence, and trust. And through it, their bond grew stronger. Finally, after careful observation and coordinated effort, the last piece of the puzzle clicked into place. A deep rumble filled the chamber, and the central platform shifted, revealing a hidden doorway. Golden light spilled through the opening, illuminating the walls with a warm glow. "We did it," Aaron said, a mix of triumph and relief in his voice. Neela's eyes sparkled. "We really did. Together." She reached for Aaron's hand, and he grasped it firmly, smiling. The success of the puzzle was not just about discovery. It was about their combined effort, their trust, and the way they complemented each other. Beyond the doorway lay a narrow corridor leading to another chamber. This one was smaller, filled with golden artifacts, sun-shaped ornaments, and carefully preserved relics. Dust motes floated in the air, glowing in the sunlight that streamed through small openings. The room was silent, holding the weight of centuries. Aaron carefully stepped inside, studying the artifacts. These are incredible. The temple preserved them perfectly. Neela moved beside him, sketching the details and taking notes. It's amazing. And we didn't even disturb anything. We're part of the story now, preserving it for others to see. They explored the chamber together, examining every detail, sharing observations, and appreciating the craftsmanship. At one point, Aaron picked up a small sun-shaped pendant. This would be a good token for study. We should leave the rest untouched. Neela nodded, smiling at his careful approach. I like that. It shows respect for the people who built this place. As they rested on the edge of the platform, their shoulders brushed, and they shared a quiet smile. The excitement of discovery, the challenge of the puzzle, and the shared effort had brought them even closer. Words were not needed. The bond between them had grown stronger, built on trust, teamwork, and admiration. The Forgotten Mountain Temple had tested their skills, their patience, and their courage. And now, standing together in its inner chambers, Aaron and Neela realized that the greatest discovery was not just the temple itself, but the connection they had forged while exploring it. With renewed determination, they prepared to continue deeper into the temple, knowing that more mysteries and challenges awaited. But they were ready together, they could face anything. The hidden doorway led Aaron and Neela into a chamber that took their breath away. The walls glimmered with golden light, reflecting from polished stones embedded in the floors and ceilings. At the center of the room was a pedestal holding a crystal that radiated warmth, as if it held the energy of the sun itself. Around the pedestal were artifacts carefully arranged, golden ornaments, carved statues, and relics that looked centuries old but perfectly preserved. Aaron stepped forward slowly, awe written across his face. This is incredible," he whispered. "It's like time stopped here. Every detail has been preserved perfectly." Neela followed, eyes wide as she took in the sight. She carefully sketched the layout and the designs on the walls, noting every artifact without touching anything. "It's more beautiful than I imagined," she said. "And it's clear that the people who built this temple cared deeply about this place." The warmth from the crystal filled the room, not uncomfortably, but with a gentle radiance that made the chamber feel alive. Aaron approached the pedestal and gently examined the crystal. "It must have been the heart of their worship," he said. "It radiates energy in a way I've never felt before." Neela knelt beside him, tracing the carvings around the pedestal. "Everything here tells a story, of devotion, teamwork, and respect for nature. We're seeing the heart of their civilization." They explored carefully, taking turns documenting each artifact. Aaron picked up a small sun-shaped pendant, examining its intricate details. "We can take this token for study. The rest should remain untouched," he suggested. Neela nodded, smiling. "Agreed. It's important to respect what they left behind. We're not just explorers, we're witnesses to history." As they continued examining the chamber, the glow of the crystal reflected on their faces. Aaron noticed Neela's expression, her eyes full of wonder, her cheeks warm with excitement. He felt a quiet warmth in his chest as he realized how much he admired her courage, intelligence, and care. Neela glanced at him, noticing his focused gaze. "Aaron," she said softly. He smiled gently. I'm glad we're here together. This moment, this place, it's better because you're with me." Neela's smile grew, and she reached for his hand. I feel the same, Aaron. Exploring with you, it makes everything more meaningful. They shared a quiet moment, their hands intertwined, feeling the warmth of the crystal and the connection that had grown between them. In the silence, words were unnecessary, the bond they had forged over days of climbing, danger, and discovery spoke louder than anything else. After a while, they continued their exploration, careful not to disturb the artifacts. Aaron discovered a small hidden compartment in the wall, containing delicate scrolls and carvings. These are records of their beliefs and discoveries, he said. We can study these without removing them. They tell us so much about their civilization. Neela leaned in to examine them, her eyes lighting up. This is amazing. It's like the temple itself is sharing its story with us. We're the first in centuries to see this. They spent hours documenting, sketching, and observing. Each discovery deepened their respect for the ancient civilization and for each other. They shared insights, laughed quietly when something puzzled them, and encouraged each other when the task seemed overwhelming. The temple was not just a place of treasure, it was a place that tested their patience, intelligence, and teamwork, and it had brought them closer together. As the sun outside began to lower, casting long shadows through the openings in the temple walls, Aaron and Neela sat together near the pedestal. The crystal glowed softly, bathing them in golden light. We've uncovered so much, Aaron said, his voice calm but full of admiration. And I think, the best part is how we did it together. Neela rested her hand on his, smiling. Yes. This temple is incredible, but sharing it with you makes it unforgettable. I think our journey is just beginning, not ending here. Aaron returned her smile, feeling a quiet joy. I think you're right, Neela. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together. As they finally left the chamber, carefully retracing their steps to preserve everything, they carried with them not only a small token and detailed notes but also the memory of a shared adventure, trust, and a connection that had grown stronger than either could have imagined. The temple had revealed its treasures and its lessons, and in doing so, it had revealed the power of partnership, courage, and respect. Together, Aaron and Neela stepped back into the corridor, ready to continue their journey, knowing that the greatest discovery was not just the temple's treasures but the bond they had built while exploring it. The climb back down the mountain began under a soft morning light, with the golden glow of the sunrise touching the rocky cliffs. Aaron and Neela felt a mix of relief and satisfaction. The temple had shared its secrets, tested their courage, and rewarded them with discoveries that would be remembered for generations. Yet, the mountain still demanded respect, and the descent would require careful attention. Careful here, Neela said, pointing to a steep section with loose stones. Going down can be trickier than climbing up. Aaron nodded, holding her hand as they navigated the narrow path. We'll take it slow. Together, nothing can stop us. The air was cooler this morning, but the sun's warmth on the rocks made the path slippery in places. They paused at several ledges, catching their breath and enjoying the view of the valley below. Clouds swirled around distant peaks, and the forest stretched endlessly, a patchwork of greens and blues. This mountain, Aaron said softly, it's beautiful, but I think the real treasure isn't what we found in the temple. Neela looked at him, curious. What do you mean? It's us, he replied. The way we faced every challenge together, trusted each other, and supported each other. That's more valuable than any crystal or artifact. Neela smiled, her heart warmed by his words. I feel the same way, Aaron. This journey, it's changed me. And I'm grateful we shared it. They moved steadily, helping each other across rocky patches and loose gravel. At one point, a gust of wind swept across a narrow ledge, making them pause. Aaron instinctively stepped closer to Neela. "Hold on," he said firmly. "We'll get through this safely." Her hand found his, and together they leaned into the wind, steadying themselves. In that moment, they realized that every challenge had strengthened their connection. The mountain, the temple, the heat, the puzzles they had faced, everything side by side, and it had created a bond that was unbreakable. As they descended, they came across a small stream, sparkling in the morning light. The water ran cold and clear, and they paused to drink and rest. Aaron knelt by the stream, filling their bottles, while Neela watched him with admiration. "You know," she said softly, "I think we make a really good team. Not just climbing, but everything." Aaron looked up at her, smiling. "I've felt that from the start. And now, after everything we've faced, I'm more certain than ever." Hours passed as they continued downward, the mountain slowly giving way to gentler slopes. Their muscles ached, but their spirits remained high. The shared experience of danger, discovery, and teamwork had created something more lasting than either had expected. Finally, they reached the base of the mountain. The forest opened up to a wide valley, with sunlight spilling across the fields below. Aaron and Neela paused, looking back at the towering cliffs they had conquered. The temple was hidden high above, still holding its mysteries, but they had achieved something remarkable. "We did it," Neela whispered, her voice filled with wonder and pride. Aaron nodded, taking her hand gently. "Yes, we did. And I'm glad we did it together." They walked toward the nearby village, their steps lighter now, hearts full of the memories they had made. Along the way, they shared quiet laughter and stories about moments from the climb, recalling near slips, moments of triumph, and the beauty of the temple. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, Aaron and Neela reached a small clearing overlooking the valley. They stopped, taking in the view and the calm that followed the mountain's challenges. "I think this is just the beginning," Neela said, turning to him. "There are more mountains, more discoveries waiting. And I want to face them with you." Aaron smiled warmly, his hand covering hers. "I feel the same, Neela. No matter what comes next, we'll face it together." For a moment, the world seemed still. The wind rustled gently through the trees, and the distant mountains glowed in the sunset light. The forgotten mountain temple was behind them, its secrets preserved, but the bond they had built would continue, carrying them forward into new adventures. As night fell and stars began to sparkle above the valley, Aaron and Neela sat together on a grassy slope, sharing a quiet, contented silence. They had climbed, discovered, and survived challenges that tested both their courage and their hearts. And through it all, they had found something even more precious than treasure: trust, respect, and the promise of a shared future. The mountain stood behind them, silent and eternal. The temple's secrets remained protected, but the story of Aaron and Neela, the journey, the courage, the bond would live on in their hearts forever. Together, they watched the night sky, dreaming of new adventures, knowing that whatever paths they would walk, they would face them side by side.